Oh, do I need to say that give the wine that thing again, do I? We're just standing here underneath the Rise Vineyard. It's a really good spot for us to see a good soil profile of the limestone that we have here at Mountford Estate. As you can see, it's very white and crumbly, and there's a lot of degradations of layers, and that just gives complexity in the wine that we're looking for. With limestone, why it's so special to Mountford and Mountford wines is that, first of all, it promotes the acidity in the wine and gives us kind of saline quality as well. What's really interesting about limestone is that it's a basic soil, which means it's not acidic, it's the opposite, but it really promotes acidity in wine. And Pinot Noir, not being a tannic variety, needs to have acidity for structure. And then you have the lovely mix of the clay in there as well, which as Pinot needs a little bit more body, the clay gives the volume to the wine. And also it does exactly the same thing in our Chardonnays, because obviously Chardonnay doesn't have tannin. The Rise, which we're under now, is I consider one of the most special sites in North Canterbury. The wine, when you taste it, when I'm talking about saltiness and so on, it's almost fizzing on the tongue. Kind of reminds me of really good mineral water with bright red fruits, tight tannins, and it's a wine that's got great acidity that will help age and last for a reasonably long time, we hope. And of course, it tastes like a wine that doesn't come from anywhere else but this spot here.
Nice.
Sound all right?
So Theo, we've got the Chardonnay here to our right. In your opinion, what's the difference with the Chardonnay vines and their roots, particularly in these vineyards down on the lower slopes at Mountford, opposed to the vines up on the hill in the Rise, in the context of the limestone?
Well, first of all, this vineyard is a little bit, the slope is a lot lower. It's further down the hill, so there's a lot more clay in the soil for a start. But the limestone is a lot lower down, but there are bands of it, if I'm correct. Okay. And so with Chardonnay, we're looking for volume in the wine, and the clay gives the volume. And with the limestone that's in the soil, it gives us drive with the acidity, like we talked about with the Pinot. And for me, Chardonnay is about oily texture with cutting acidity, and I think we kind of are seeing as the roots get down here at Mountford that we're getting more acidity through time. How old are these vines now?
So the Chardonnay vines were planted in 91, so we're at 23 years.
23 years, so we're starting to see a real sort of density of flavour and good acidity lift now, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. That makes sense.
As we go up into the Rise as compared to this, the soil profile is a lot shallower, so the limestone's more prominent in the profile, and we're seeing that that's giving a lot more tension to the Pinot, right? And whereas the Chardonnay is a little bit more volume, based more around volume rather than tension.
Although the Chardonnay still has that linear line running through it.
That's right.
Which would come from the acidity.
Yes.
Which comes from the limestone.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Getting into the technical stuff, this is a big fault line that Mountford sits in front of, and it's quite reasonably recent, isn't it? Sort of supposedly around about 10 million years, as opposed to Burgundy, which is quite a lot older than that. So that's quite an important difference with our limestone. As you can see where we're standing, the limestone is sort of sticking straight up. So we're on almost the east coast of the South Island, or we're pretty close to the coast. So at some point this fault line popped up and spat out this limestone for us, and our Rise and Chardonnay a little bit lower down are planted on the soil that was created at the front of that. And for us, that's what makes this site really special and interesting, and what gives us wine that potentially can't taste like it comes from anywhere else. And that's what we're hoping to sort of drive with the wines when we make them. Yeah.
So the Rise vineyard sits directly behind us, basically about 10 metres, 7 to 10 metres directly behind this rock. So we're going to wander over there in a minute.
It's very steep.
It's very, very steep. Originally, a lot of Mountford looked like this, but was cleared when the vines were put in. So anyway, we wanted to come and show you sort of the natural form before the vineyards were developed, and to show you some of that more rustic limestone that we're dealing with.
See?
Oh, should I try that bit?
Give it a good nudge.
No, it is flat.
Roll it on its axis then.
Oh, there we go. Woohoo!
There'll be sheep in there. Jesus, that's awesome.